Hello and welcome to Edison TV. Today I'm joined by Subhash Challa and Christian Stevens from SenSen AI. SenSen is an ASX listed company capitalized at around about $30 million, and it's got what it calls a live awareness platform, which is used in smart cities environments to take real-time insights and turn them into actionable intelligence. Subhash, many thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Q2 has been quite a momentous quarter with an entitlement offer, reached cash flow positive for the first time, and some good progress on winning new customers. Can you just summarize the quarter for us, please?
Yeah, it's probably one of the most exciting quarters that I can think of in the last several years. Starting with COVID, there's a surprise after surprise after surprise, and navigating those surprises to come to this point where we can show that none of those headwinds ever affected our company. If you look at quarter-on-quarter growth every year, it doesn't matter what's happening around us. We have been able to establish a business and business models that have been constantly growing revenues. And in the early days of the company, when we are establishing our differentiation and competitiveness, we had to obviously make a lot of investments in our platform, product breadth, and customizations that we were doing to some customers to get traction. That's why the expenses were higher leading into this situation. And about 12 months, even 18 months ago, we started looking at saying, hey, look, we have enough barriers of entry, competitiveness that were established in smart cities and a few other verticals that we were working in, and started investing, cutting down the cost, standardizing our products, but not impacting our revenue growth. Of course, we have been telling the market we're getting there, and a couple of quarters we didn't quite hit the mark, and it obviously raises credibility questions and so on. But I'm so pleased now to see that we're finally able to demonstrate with numbers that we have crossed over to cash flow positivity for the whole half, the first time it ever happened. But more importantly, it's sustainable, process, and you will see that in the quarters that will come in the future. We're very confident. Of course, we have taken even more aggressive measures in the last quarter to reduce our staff count, further reduce our IT expenses, settled a court case with Angel out of court. Of course, we have never infringed the patents and we never admit to that. But there's no point fighting on a market we're not interested in. And that also means that patent expenses, legal expenses, many things have come down, which is going to make it a highly sustainable performance of cash flow positivity. We do reckon the next quarter will have a slight dip simply because we are removing a lot of costs, and there's a cost to remove costs, redundancies, and a few other things. So there'll be minor, a dip as we go into it, but then we expect it to be, delivering growth with cash flow positivity and profitability into the future. So I believe it's an exciting quarter from many dimensions, not one, but the financial fundamentals are strong. We could raise the money completely, that whatever we aim to raise, 2 point whatever million, 2.2 or 2.1, but after cost, it's basically 2 million cash into the company. The settlement that we have done also will inject some more cash into the company, but the money is coming in to have really good financial discipline and very strategic dollar to invest in the right areas to grow the company into the future, rather than trying to catch up with the past. Okay, so I think it bodes well for the future. It's exciting for all the shareholders. And in the last quarter, we also got a lot of feedback on how we can further improve our board, our governance, make it stronger for the growth that is coming in the future. And we are also taking a lot of steps in implementing some of the feedback that we got. We currently have a board governance review happening with an independent consultant. We'll get some feedback from that. We also got recommendations and approaches to some excellent candidates for the independent chair position. We are in conversations to see if they're a right fit. As and when we decide, we'll bring that in. So I think there's a lot of good changes that are happening to bode well for the future of the company.
Great. As I said, a big quarter. In particular, some interesting developments in the UK. Obviously, the US, that's a key strategic market for you. Many times the Australian market. In particular, you recently announced a contract with an organization called Sourcewell. Can you discuss that and what that might mean for the business?
Yeah, so if you look at Australia, even for US companies, an experimental ground, and it's the same thing for Australian companies. We built a groundbreaking, extremely relevant and timely live awareness AI platform that's needed everywhere in the world. And the biggest market of all is the US. So piggybacking on the success that has been achieved in Australia, I have focused my energies and focus in the US last year. I spent a good 5 months overall, 3 months in one stretch and a couple of months for conferences and a few other things, focused on how to establish a revenue pipeline, sales pipeline, that truly, creates value for the shareholders of SenSen. And I'm pleased to note that we have been able to establish 2 very strong channel partners in that area. Of course, there are other partners in the ecosystem helping us, but these are sales channel partners who are selling our products. One is Gitecna, which is Canadian-based company, but has strong presence in the US and Canada. And they have been selling a lot of our solutions in the enforcement area, largely parking and related spaces. But there is another complete segment of our market within smart cities, which is about curbside management, which is not related to enforcement, but better managing the curb, coding the curb, digitizing the curb, giving tools and solutions that can help government departments and cities to manage curb better. And in that direction, we formed a partnership with a company called Blue Systems. They are part of a mega conglomerate in France. It's a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate, but a company very focused with a good footprint in a lot of cities, including LA, DOT, New York, San Francisco, San Jose, and many of the cities there are either trialing or using Blue Systems products. And we partnered with them to streamline our solution delivery to these cities. And Sourcewell is a procurement vehicle where governments don't need, every government doesn't need to go and do a tendering process themselves, which is time consuming, efficient, creates a lot of uncertainty. They go through these national cooperative procurement agencies like Sourcewell, who do the tendering once, and that allows governments who choose to buy from them to get that. And it's a standard strategy. It's a very unique strategy in the US. It doesn't apply in Australia and a few other places, not as strong in other parts of the world, but it's a very, very important strategy to accelerate revenue in the US. So part of my achievement in the last 3 to 5 months that I was there in the US was to not only find a partner, but win the Sourcewell contract, opening the door for us to roll out this technology faster, which means revenue growth is faster. One of the biggest, nuisance items, if you want, in the market space, which deals with governments and large enterprises, is the tendering process. It's long, sales cycles are very long, and Sourcewell basically cuts it, to very, very short period. So that way, it's very exciting. It doesn't mean immediate revenue. That's why it's not a separate announcement, but it means that the revenue pipeline is easy to convert and faster to convert. Yeah. That's
great. Look forward to seeing how that evolves. And you've also announced further cost reductions, another 2 million of annualized costs. Can you discuss that? What's enabled that to happen? And also, I guess, what makes you comfortable that your delivery capability won't be disrupted through that?
Yeah, I think if you look at the reasons we are confident in our ability to cut costs and keep it sustainable and not impact the revenue growth is because we have now completed all our experimentations with the customers to a large extent in the market that are focused in. We understand what is our product and how good is a product market fit. And the product market fit is when the scale is taking off. We have validated that. It's, lots and lots of cities are taking, and the problem statement and our solution fit is very good, which means that we don't need too many people to support these customizations. We have been able to focus last 6-8 months on productizing things that are, we believe are the market winners, and now we are backing them, to scale. That allows us to cut the cost but not lose the revenue. That's why we're very confident of doing it. And also, when we look at the changes that have happened over the last few years in the cloud, there have been a lot of consolidations that have gone in. So some of our solutions that live in the cloud, we had too much expenses on different cloud providers, different contracts, and many other things, because the focus was not so much on cost optimization. Focus was on speed of delivery, acquiring customers, learn from the customers, make the products, relevant, those kind of things. Now that we have achieved that productization and standardization to a large extent, now we're focusing on how do we optimize cloud costs. We can consolidate. Even cloud providers have come up with some great deals if you consolidate. So we are basically focused on reducing costs at every layer, including manpower, because of the standardization we have been able to achieve.
That's very helpful. Thank you. And then just looking ahead for the business, you talked about sort of the cash flow profile, but in terms of key milestones, commercial milestones, delivery milestones, what should investors be looking for as you execute your plan to be confident that you're remaining on that scalable growth journey?
The most important thing, I think, is investors should start believing that this turning point is real and there's no looking back. And we've come there after a lot of experimentation and a lot of headwinds of inflation and COVID and many things that were hitting us. As many successful companies, if you look at it, whoever survived these headwinds and go through and even raise capital in toughest times are one of the successful companies. And we have all the hallmarks of that, the ticks in the boxes. But it's our focus to make sure we don't slip from this. We continue to deliver that. And we need to educate our shareholders and the market on how great this platform is and how big the potential is. And I think if we can back up our results along with education to the shareholders and stakeholders, it should start giving a change in direction to our share price. And that's a very important thing for all shareholders. Everybody is battered a little bit with the dampened share price. But we are not dampened. We know that the potential is very high. We want to pursue that and deliver the growth. So the key shareholders are backing us, which they have done by giving the money that we wanted and other things. We believe it will be a great story in the years to come.
That's great, Subhash. Thank you very much. And now turning to you, Christian. Yeah, I mean, reaching cash flow generation, positive cash flow generation is obviously a significant milestone for the business as well. Can you discuss the dynamics of that and how you've achieved that in this last half?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge milestone for us. Cash flow positive on an operating basis year to date, something we haven't achieved before. And really pays homage to the efforts of probably the last 12, 18 months. We've been refining the business, streamlining operations for some time now. Back in Q1, we saw the former ScanCam business fully integrated. which saw additional cost cutting. And if we go back 12 months further, there were other restructures. And now, again, we're looking at a more refined, more focused structure under this product set that's maturing. And so it's really satisfying to see that those efforts are finally paying off. There is a little bit of timing in there. Our annual R&D grant does come in Q2, but it does every year. So that's consistent with every year. Yeah, look, it's as Subhash probably mentioned, it's off the back of continuing record cash collections, revenues. Without those, we wouldn't have a business. And so with them consistently delivering those prior comparable period records, we've delivered this result, which is fantastic.
Great. And then looking ahead to H2, and then other elements on your visible horizon, what are the key things that are going to shape your sort of financial profile from here on?
Yeah, look, it's the ability to continue that growing revenue stream, backed by an even more leaner cost structure. So in the announcement, there was a headcount reduction. So we are a software company. Headcount is one of our biggest costs. But the fact that the products have reached that state of maturity has allowed us to do that. And going forward, they'll be managed through a structured roadmap. So we won't have these bug fixes and customizations going on, which really detract focus from the core product.
That's great, Christian. Thank you very much, Subhash. Christian, well done on a really nice, on all you've achieved this quarter, and look forward to following your progress going on from here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.